Now, page 4, 2 trillion reasons to unleash the restrained by government United States economy. What is massive and unprecedented federal spending of taxpayer dollars that don't exist, by the way, going to do to keep my friend Archie's restaurant from going out of business? It might allow some companies to keep workers on the payroll for a short period of time. It might give some Americans a bit of financial breathing room for a short period of time. It might even act as a safety net for Americans who lost jobs because of the draconian overreaction by government to a virus for a short period of time. Sure, it's a $2 trillion Band-Aid, just like those shovel-ready Obama stimulus jobs was a governmental Band-Aid a decade ago. But it did nothing to stimulate the economy and put Americans back to work. Nothing. And neither will this massive spending boondoggle. Government's only solution to any government-induced economic calamity is spend money. That's all it knows. Spend taxpayer dollars. But the biggest spending package in world history won't put people back into airplanes again, and it won't get those jets airborne. Certainly, spending $2 trillion won't reopen Archie's little hole-in-the-wall Filipino food restaurant for normal dining again, will it? Sure, Archie can grab a small business loan here, but to what end? To keep people on the payroll so they can sit and watch a once robust, thriving business slowly die? This is nuts. Archie's business is down 70%, 70%, because of government, not the virus. Government. Are you kidding me? No business, small or large, can sustain operations when 70% of its customers vanish. And for what reason? Why is business in the toilet? Answer: state and local political geniuses. These are local officials who have overreacted to a virus in a typical knee-jerk style, many of whom are seizing the moment in order to confiscate the constitutional rights of hard-working Americans. This has got to end. We cannot, as a society, come up with a cure or a treatment for the Wuhan coronavirus with our republic in a state of coast-to-coast suspended animation. Americans are dying because of the lockdown. We need people contributing to all facets of society again in order to come up with solutions to any problem. That's what we do. After all, we're Americans. We can't win this war against an invisible enemy cowering in our homes. That's the worst thing we could do as a society. No, what my buddy Archie needs is a fair shot at making a buck. He needs a normally functioning American society. That's it. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. 2 trillion? Yes, indeed. 2 trillion reasons to end this needless, senseless shutdown of society and unleash the United States economy. And largely this shutdown is driven by Democrat politicians. The Democrat Party is now the enemy of the people, the enemy of liberty. And any time Chuck Schumer is gloating over a spending plan, you know that government just got a little bit bigger and liberty just got a little bit smaller.
This is a great plan.
Stop the tape. A great plan. A great plan for whom? For the National Endowment of the Arts, for the Kennedy Center, for growing government, for giving Congress a few extra $1 million that it doesn't need? We need to scale back Congress. How about this? How about a piece of legislation that turns Congress into a part-time job so we don't have to see Chuck Schumer quite as much? Why do these people need to be full-time exactly? The government seems to be functioning okay during this corona crisis without much of government even in government. The Congress isn't around. I guess they're going to come back and take a vote and then probably go home and put their masks on and then watch the United States economy implode even further because of governmental mandates that are completely unnecessary. In the end, what fixed the economic calamity of 2009, 2010, 2008, 2009, 2010, which was government-induced, by the way? Government forcing banks to lend to people who shouldn't be borrowing money. That was government induced. What fixed it? Was it Barack Obama? Was it Barack Obama and his shovel-ready jobs? No. It was the American people. And God bless the American engine that drives this economy to be able to survive, not thrive, but able to survive 8 years of Barack Obama and about 1%, 2% at the most GDP average under Barack Obama. And then we finally get a president in the White House who says, you know what? I'm going to reduce your tax burden, and I'm going to reduce, at least attempt to, the size and scope of government, and I'm going to attempt to drain the swamp. And the economy responds, and the unemployment rate is driven down to its lowest point in American history, and the labor participation rate is driven up to its highest point in American history. And lo and behold, he sustains all of these attacks, these brutal attacks, from impeachment to Robert Mueller to James Comey to a brutal, constant attack from the mainstream media. And then the Democrats and the mainstream media have a light bulb go off. And they realize that this coronavirus, even though it's not even close to as mortal as the seasonal flu, which kills somewhere in the neighborhood of 40, 50, 60,000 Americans every year, it's not even close to those numbers. They realize that they can use this, they can weaponize this like impeachment never did. You know, most people weren't paying attention to impeachment, were they? Sure, it dominated C-SPAN, but how many other people were watching C-SPAN? We had our ending of the football season, right? That was going on. We had the basketball. You had the hockey going on. Oh, baseball was just around the corner. None of that exists anymore. Everybody is focused on one thing and one thing only. And the Democrat mainstream media narrative is that Donald Trump is not handling the outbreak like he should be. Well, you know what? The American people don't buy that, because every poll I'm seeing says that they approve of the way the president is handling this. The president is doing all he can, 24/7. He's out there every day explaining to the American people exactly what we're doing. But this conspiracy, that's what this is. It's painfully obvious for me to see. I saw it from the beginning, what was transpiring here. And that is these blue state leaders, these blue state governors, and these big city mayors in blue states like Los Angeles and New York City were weaponizing this and screaming bloody murder and blaming it on the President of the United States because they didn't get him an impeachment, but they figure they might be able to get him with the Wuhan coronavirus. It's not going to work. The U.S. economy is going to snap back. I don't know exactly how long it's going to take, but I think it's going to happen well before the November election. And the American people are going to see through this thing. And I hope and I pray. The next 2 weeks are going to be very interesting because it's going to create a collision course between the federal government and Donald Trump, who wants to reopen the United States of America for business, and these blue state governors who want to clamp it down and harm the president as much as possible. In the end, the American economy will recover, and I hope and I pray the American people see Chuck Schumer and Andrew Cuomo and Mr. Newsom in Sacramento for who they really are, the people who are destroying this country. So $2 trillion, $75 million for the National Endowment for the Humanities, whatever that is, $75 million for the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, millions more for migration and refugee assistance, aka illegal aliens. How's that going to help Archie, whose restaurant is on the verge of going out of business? The only thing that will help hundreds of thousands of Archies across this great country is releasing the shackles of government and putting America back to work.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One American News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One American News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.